Hello, my name is Brandon Howell, and my fandom video is going to be on the Terminator fandom. Uh, to get started, I just want to talk a little bit about the history of the Terminator. Um, the Terminator fandom kicked off in 1984 with the release of Terminator, the original, um, which was actually made with a budget of $6.5 million. A very small budget. Like if you were to see that budget nowadays, you would kind of assume that it was going to be like a comedy or like a just like a smaller scale film. And for what they did with that budget, um, it it deserves all the praise it got. It deserves um, the the attention and the love that it's received from this fandom that we're gonna dive into. Um, it ended up making close to $80 million at the box office. People loved the film. Cult following um, happened right away. And people were excited for what was next for Terminator. And what came next was not only a, I'm going to say, an improvement on the first one, which the first one was already good, but it's been quoted as the greatest, if not one of the top two or three greatest sequel films of all time. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, just exploded the fandom, and it pushed the envelope in terms of special effects. It transcended into pop culture. People were quoting the film constantly. People still quote the film today. Let's be real here. Like this movie was big. The film made $500 million at the box office, and it spawned video games. It created comic books. It created books, and it set up the rest of the Terminator series. Obviously, the first one was a big hit, but the second film, it it can't be overstated. Just the fact that it it changed the trajectory of filmmaking, um, and the way we view films. Like it pushed the envelope, like I said, about special effects, action. It just did so much, and it did so much for the fandom. It just created so much attention, and it funded the rest of the films because people were going to go out and see another Terminator film because of what they witnessed in the theater in 1991. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Um, I watched it so many times as a kid, and I used to think I was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd ride a bicycle around Collingwood and pretend I was fighting the liquid Terminator. Like the film, it meant a lot to me, but it meant a lot to a lot of people. The third Terminator film, Rise of the Machines, came out in 2003. There was also two video games that were released that year, um, that went with the movie. A TV show came out, which was short lived, but came out in 2008. Um, it garnered a cult following, of course, because Terminator fans, they love the Terminator stuff, and they still clamor for it every single day. Just a continuation of that storyline. Uh, Terminator Genesis came out in 2014, and surprisingly, it actually garnered the second highest box office total worldwide for the Terminator series at $440 million. And then the last Terminator series came out, or sorry, the last Terminator movie came out in 2019, Dark Fate. There was a Netflix anime show that was released this past summer in August. which I haven't checked out yet. Like I said, there's been several video games that have been released. Terminator Resistance was just released in 2003, first-person shooter. So there's a lot of history, a lot of things to fill your mouth with when it comes to Terminator. Like you can watch films, you can play games, you can read books, you can do lots of things, and there's a lot to talk about with Terminator. There's a lot of stories to tell, and I hope there continues to be a lot of stories for them to tell, because I think the ideas in the Terminator series and saga, they're amazing, and they need to continue to be told, especially as AI is being developed the way it is. I'll dive into that conversation a little later, but just in terms of the scope of the fandom, there's 100,000 plus Redditor subscribers subscribe to the Terminator thread. I guess that's what you call it. That talk daily, have conversations. They go out of their way to communicate with each other, talk about Terminator, all things Terminator, talk about possibilities for the future. There's Terminator fan sites. I can't really show you unless I turn my camera around, but there's this website, Terminator Fans, .com, which has been the longest running Terminator fan site that has been going. I don't exactly know how long it's been running for, but I'll show you it. Don't know if you can see it, but that's the main page. Sorry, I had the football game going on in the background there. There's blogs in there that people talk under. Stay engaged with it. We talked a little bit about the sales with the box office. The films, again, I said earlier, but the films made $2.6 billion at the box office, so no slouch when it comes to money power with the films. There's people constantly worldwide meeting up for fan meetups and meet and greets and meeting the stars of the films, going to Comic-Cons. It has a massive following, and rightfully so. This is going to be the end of the first part of this fandom video. I'm going to put it in two parts, so this is the end of the first one.